for pre-need funerals, burials, and cremations since 1975. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Pauline Elizabeth Newsom Fields died Monday, January 4th. There'll be a private service for Ms. Fields. And due to the pandemic restriction, a graveside service held with the immediate family only. And they welcome and cherish any special memories or stories you would like to leave online at curtisandsonfh.com. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Mr. Michael Aaron Zook, age 29, of Sylacauga, died January 5th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. A private memorial service will be held at a later date. In lieu of flowers, a family request donation be made to the Bridges Scholarship Program at SAFE or to the ARC of South Talladega County. Online condolences at curtisandsonfh.com. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Of course, Mr. Zook, the son of Andrew and Dusty Zook, and of course, Chief Zook, former police chief here in Sylacauga, was Louis Zook, and his son Michael passed away at the age of 29 on January 5th. Curtis and Son Funeral Home directing that service. Family receiving friends for Philip Tracy Medley, age 58. That visitation will be Saturday from noon until 2 at Talladega Funeral Home. A graveside service will follow at 2:30 from Midway Memory Gardens in Talladega. Mr. Medley died January 2nd. Talladega Funeral Home directing. Memorial service for Rocky Dwayne Alford, age 62, is Saturday at 3 o'clock from Radley Smith Funeral Home Chapel. Brother Keith Owens will be officiating. Mr. Alford died January 5th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Visitation Saturday 1 until 3 at the funeral home. In lieu of flowers, contribution may be sent to the Tunnel to Towers, Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga, directing. And of course, Rocky was the husband to Cindy Alford. Cindy, a hairstylist here in town, and our condolences to Cindy and that entire family. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing the service for Rocky Dwayne, Papa Rock Alford, age 62. Graveside service for Caleb Christopher McNeil, age 23, of Sylacauga, will be Saturday at 2 o'clock from Evergreen Cemetery. Mr. McNeil died January 4th at UAB in Birmingham. Visitation Saturday from 11 until noon at Alabama International Dragway, Steele Station Road in Steele, Alabama. Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga directing. Graveside service for Calvin Miller Davenport, age 86, of Goodwater, will be Sunday at 1 o'clock from Highland Cemetery, with Brother Chris Tidwell officiating. Mr. Davenport died Wednesday, January 6th at Russell Medical Center. Mr. Davenport was a military veteran serving in the Air Force for some 22 years. Visitation Sunday from 11:30 to 12:30 at the funeral home, Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Johnny Williamson funeral service will be Saturday at 1 o'clock from Community Funeral Home Chapel in Sylacauga. Community Funeral Home directing. Visitation is today 1 until 7 at the funeral home. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Community Funeral Home Sylacauga directing. And public viewing for Mrs. Vanessa Ann Brookins Wilson, age 66, is Saturday from 1 until 4 at Community Funeral Home in Sylacauga. Ms. Wilson died at Goodwater Nursing Home on December 30th. Community Funeral Home directing. Celebration of life for Mr. Johnny Frank Tank Williamson, age 61, is Saturday at 2 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock at Community Funeral Home Chapel, with the Reverend Curtis Seals officiating. Interment in the Evergreen Cemetery. Visitation today 1 until 8 at the funeral home. Community Funeral Home directing. Funeral arrangements will be announced from Miss Susie Scales, age 69, of Talladega. That'll be announced by S.M. Goodson Funeral Home, Talladega. And celebration of life for Mr. James Thomas J.T. Bradford, age 78, of Talladega, is Saturday, 1:30 from S.M. Goodson Funeral Home Chapel. Reverend Willie Hearn officiating. Interment in the Union Springs Baptist Church Cemetery. Public viewing today at the funeral home from 1 until 6. S.M. Goodson Funeral Home directing. These obituaries this morning brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.